Production.
Yo, what is poppin'? So I have here Exro Technologies. This is a Canadian company, and they're into the EV chargers, I believe. So I want to go over this because the chart is nice. It's cheap. It's on the TSX. Cheap in terms of low in price per share. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a cheap stock that's going to increase exponentially in price, but I do like the technicals behind it. So let's get into this. So I'm looking at this here, right off the hop. I'm going to mark out my supply and demand zones, right? So I want to move this right here. This is a clear zone that we've been at, right? And it's at 293. You could say it's at like 293 to $3. Okay, let's say that's around that range. Now we're right up into that zone. Now, if you look at the past few weeks, right, there's a few technical patterns that are very bullish, right? So we have this clean bull flag pattern with the breakout, right? So here's our pole, and then the flag is right here, and we go sideways for about 8 weeks, right? So it was a pole that went up in price for about 10 weeks, and then we went sideways for 8. Now, what I think is so important here when we're looking at stocks like this that have the momentum and that are increasing in price, the 8 EMA is used as support here, right? So as we could look down right here, we have a downtrend, right? So for those who don't know, a downtrend is easy to identify because it makes lower highs and lower lows. So here we have a lower high and a lower low. And in retrospect to its trend, it continues to make lower highs and lower lows, right? So now we could point that out on this chart very easily, right? It's easy to identify that this is a downtrending stock. Was. Now, as this is getting lower and lower, there's a change in the characteristics of the stock, right? We create a higher high, right? And then we create a higher low. And now we're at another higher high. Something that I think is evident to also point out is there's an increase in bull volume. And I think that what that could be indicating is, of course, an increase in the demand of the stock. So people are buying this stock. What I think is important to highlight is that if this company starts to partner with other companies, because as we all know, electric vehicles are the plan for many governments is to make that very popular and pretty much ban the use of like gas related vehicles. So if electric vehicles are to become a lot more popular, then this could be a stock that is very worth paying attention to. Another thing that I like to see is that if we're looking at this from like a monthly time frame, right, we've come back to levels that we were at in 2020, and we're rallying hard right off of those levels. So you could look at this from a bigger perspective, like we have wave 1, wave 2 here, right? The wave 3, we don't know where that's going to take us, but we do have this major resistance at around $6 here. So is it going to go up to that price? Potentially. We're seeing markets turn around, and we're starting to see names like this, right? Look at this continuous momentum. Another thing that I wanted to point out, something you could do on the weekly time frame, look at this bullish cross of the EMAs, right? So here we have a bullish cross where the 8 EMA crosses above the 21. This is a bullish sign because the lower EMA crossing above the higher EMA is another sign that demand is picking up in the stock. Vice versa, when the 8 crosses below the higher one, the 21, it tends to show that the bear trend has started. So here is a sign that the bull trend is starting. What I will be looking for now is continuation of this 8 EMA. We want to see it continued to be used as support, and we want to see a larger pattern develop here, because what we're looking at is a potential wave 1, wave 2, maybe wave 3 here is going to give us a nice push, and then we need a large pattern to develop as a wave 4 and to make that move up higher. So I think this is one that's very worth putting on the watch list and paying attention to in the next few weeks. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.